You'll need some 14 gauge wire, some 20 gauge wire, and 0.3mm wire, along with some pliers. You can make a template for yourself that will help in consistency for the size and shape of your ears. Once you have that, you can lay them out and make sure they're roughly the same shape. From there, you can just start bending the wire around the template that you've made. It can be very rough. This is just to help with the length of wire that you'll need and roughly the shape you should be looking at. You can then take your pliers to pinch at the tips and play around with them a little bit to make them a little bit more pointed and cleaner. To bind your end pieces together, you can just wrap the wires around each other until they are secured in place. It's a good idea to constantly check your proportions and try them on your own ears throughout to make sure that they're sitting comfortably and are on the right track. From here, you want to take your thinner wire and start creating the web lines along your ears. You can create curls on your wire by just wrapping them around your pliers repeatedly until you get the desired shape and size of the curls that you like. For the top and bottom portions, I wanted to use the thicker wire, so I just used a little bit of hot glue to help hold them in place until they could be secured properly later on. Here you can take your thinnest wire and use it like thread to help secure all the unattached points or any areas that you think are weak on the ears. I did an excessive amount of wrapping around the top and bottom portions just to ensure that the additional pieces would be secured correctly. Now, if you just use silver wire to create these, you can completely skip this step, but since I used the wire I had lying around my house, I had to take the time to paint the ears so they would match the look I was going for. For this part, I just used extra lace that I had lying around, but you can use any fabric you like, just as long as it can catch a needle and thread, because you now get to do the very tedious part of sewing the fabric all the way around the wire along the outside. With the fabric secured, you can then go along and trim all the excess. Just be careful of your thread lines, you don't want to go and ruin all the hard work you just did. At this point it's nice and trimmed, but there were a few frayed edges from the fabric, so I decided to just run along it lightly with hot glue to just seal down the extra fibers that were sticking in. For For the next part, I just use nail polish, but you can use whatever works for you. Acrylic paints would be fine for this, or even spray paints. You want to work on the back side of your ear, so if there are any mistakes, there's a little bit more leeway on the back of the ears than the front. For finishing touches, you can use whatever you would like to embellish your ears. I just went with some simple craft jewels and hot glue to help secure them. And you're done! Some adjustable wire mermaid ears that hopefully you can have some fun with. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye!